So last month I did a video on the craziest patents of all time. Click up here if you happen to miss it. But in that video, I said that there were a lot more that I ran across, and I threatened to make a second video on that topic. Today, I deliver on that threat. First one up is the self-pat. Officially called the pat on the back apparatus, this is, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a machine that lets you pat yourself on the back. This is a device that would be suspended from the shoulder, and the hand can be manually swung back and forth with a lever. Like, this is mostly a novelty item. I could see this at Spencer Gifts or something, but the application touts that, it possibly has psychological benefits too. It reads, most frequently, one who is in need of congratulations or encouragement often tells friends or work associates that his or her feelings and solicits a needed pat on the back. In the absence of other persons friendly or sensitive to one's needs, the individual must resort to raising the arm high and into the air overhead and bending the arm at the elbow to allow the hand to gently strike the upper portion of the back. This places one in a somewhat uncomfortable posture and additionally lacks the placement of a pat in the most desired middle portion of the back. I love how they're making this out like it's some kind of real problem that needs to be solved. Like, oh, I'm hurting myself so much when I pat my back. It goes on to say that it has been reported that many wealthy and successful individuals engage in conversations with themselves. That is, they talk to themselves. Such an activity is understandable in view of the often small populace of self-motivated individuals and in view of the large volume of self-defeatist conversation known to emanate from those of low self-esteem. So this one little device could raise the esteem of all those in the lower classes and eventually rise up and take their place at the top. This is silly and it's not even designed that well, so I'm going to give it a well-deserved F tier. And if it feels bad about it, it can cheer itself up by patting itself on the back. Next up is the toilet toy. This was patented by Rolf Hernock in 1955, and it's basically a little device that attaches to the side of a toilet bowl and swings into the bowl to give little boys a target to hit when they're learning how to use the toilet. Which, I think this has actually been made. I think I've seen things like this. I've definitely seen little targets that you can put on the water or, on the back of the bowl to give kids something to aim at. I think the Achilles heel of this design is that, it has this little metal thing that swings around that has a little face on it that you pee on. You know how you pee on faces? Because you have to swing it over before you use it, meaning you gotta touch it, and that thing's got pee on it. So according to the filing, it says that the point of this device is to, quote, for the instruction and training of young boys to increase the sanitary cleanliness of bathrooms and toilet rooms. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a fast spinning metal plate is just gonna fling little pee droplets all over the place. Plus, when you move it to the side, like it has right here, I feel like it has pee on it and it would just drip everywhere. Also, it's right at the side of the bowl. Like, I feel like that cuts down on the amount of area to aim at. Like, there's a lot more opportunity to hit the side of the bowl and just go over it. This would splatter so much pee around your bowl. Hey, you know what you could do is just wad up some toilet paper and have your kid aim at the toilet paper. I still do that today. Yeah, this is dumb as hell. F tier. The next one I call the snake breath chair. So the guy who patented this is named Charles Singer, and that name alone sent me down a rabbit hole. Because my first thought when I saw that was Singer, I wonder if this is the guy who invented the sewing machine, but no, that was actually Isaac Singer. So then I started to wonder if maybe Isaac Singer had a son named Charles Singer, or a relative of some kind. Well, it turns out he did. He had a son named Charles Alexander Singer. He was born in 1959. The problem is this patent was filed in 1969, so he would have only been 10 years old, so it wasn't him. Charles Singer, by the way, was one of 26 kids that Isaac Singer had by 5 women in 3 different countries. Yeah, the guy who invented the sewing machine was basically Genghis Khan. Anyway, about the chair, which has nothing to do with Isaac Singer. It's basically a rocking chair, but it has bellows underneath it so that when you rock back and forth, it blows air up a pipe that comes out over your head to cool you off. And the nozzle of this pipe is inexplicably shaped like the head of a snake. I gotta be honest, this is smart. I like this. Because this was in 1869. They didn't have air conditioning or even electric fans back then, so I could see something like this actually being helpful. Now, it probably takes more work to run those bellows when you rock back and forth than a normal rocking chair would, which means that you might actually warm yourself up more than the snake head can cool you off. Seriously though, why the snake? I don't know. But I think it's actually fairly clever. I'll give it a C tier. This next one I call the face smash alarm clock. For those who are deep sleepers or have learned to ignore their alarm clocks, then the device for waking persons from sleep might be just what you need. Patented by Samuel S. Applegate in 1881, this invention is a light frame that kind of hangs over your head while you're sleeping. Combined with automatic releasing devices, the frame then falls onto your face at a designated time to help you wake up. The patent is careful to note that the blow should be enough to wake you up, but not cause pain. So it suggests using maybe tassels, balls of zephyr, or cork. I'm not quite sure what zephyr is. So, I mean, I for one am somebody that can sleep through just about any alarm clock in the world, so I might actually have needed something like this back in the day before you could just turn a light on in the morning. Of course, in a lot of places back then, they had loud whistles and bells that would go off in the morning to get everybody up to go to the factory or whatever. Or you could actually hire what they called knocker-ups to come like knock on your door or pelt your windows with rocks. It's a bit Rube Goldbergian, but yeah, I guess it could work for somebody like me. Why not? B tier. The next one is the Urinal Headrest. I'm pretty sure these actually exist. So this is strictly for guys who have had too much to drink at a bar and need a way to steady themselves while they release the poisons. What's funny about this is when you look into the filing, it makes it sound like it's for people who are just especially tired, like you'd use it at home. But of course, not a lot of homes have urinals. But yeah, that's all it is. It's a cushion you put on a wall to rest your head while you're peeing to support you. Not a whole lot to it. I mean, it's just a pad. And yet they have all of these schematics and they've really worked this out. This pad you put on a wall so you can pee. Oh, they got one for the shower too. That's helpful. I feel like if they wanted to be more clever with it, it should have some kind of sensor on the inside. So if you put it up at a bar, it would notify the bouncer or the bartender that you've had too much, because if you can't hold yourself up to pee, you probably shouldn't be driving home. So like, I don't know if this is that crazy. It does its job. There's not a whole lot to it. It's not that clever, but it does what it's supposed to do, I guess. B tier. The next up is the human washing machine. Okay, so I had to include this one because the inventor's name, last name is the same as the episode's writer, Jason. So no clue if they're related. Probably not. But Otto A. Hensel patented the rocking or oscillating bathtub in 1899. And as the name says, it's basically a bathtub with a cover that splashes water on a person when it jostles them around. So yeah, the tub and your body, it's all covered by this waterproof apron, and your head sticks out the top, and springs rock the tub back and forth and sloshes the water around, and this is supposed to wash you like a washing machine. And according to the filing, the simple rocking motion will agitate the water with violence against a person's body, quote, for a purpose well known in the art of medicine. What, you didn't know about this? So I see two problems with this right away. First of all, you can't wash your head and face, which feels like it's something you should be able to do when you're taking a bath. And two, this thing around your neck would probably choke you as you're being sloshed around up and down by this thing. Yet, you couldn't pay me to use this thing. E tier. Next one up is Bane cosplay, basically. Okay, so this was invented by Lucy L. Barmby in 1982, and I'm sure she had no idea that 40 years later, we were all going to be wearing face masks. She calls this the anti-eating face mask, so this isn't meant to prevent the spread of disease, it's meant to prevent you from eating. Which is why it has an actual lock on the side here. Yeah, it's basically a chastity belt for your mouth. Yeah, she suggests that it could help people on diets, but there was a much more specific purpose she had in mind. Basically, it's for people who work around food and can't help putting it in their mouths. So like chefs and restaurant personnel, or to quote her filing, the housewife who must frequently cook meals during the day, which generally includes the preparation of such fattening foods such as pies, pastries, and the like. Is that a real problem? Actually, you know what? I used to work at a Red Lobster, and I probably ate about 10 Cheddar Bay biscuits a day, so yeah, it's a problem. So crazy, but there are people that sometimes get their jaws wired shut to make sure that they can't eat for short periods of time, crash diets and stuff like that, or maybe they're on liquid diets, so maybe there's something to it? Like, this is peak 1980s fitness fad right here. Honestly, it kind of makes me wonder if anybody lost weight during the pandemic when we were all wearing masks, because there was that one tiny little obstacle to just throwing food in your mouth. Real talk for a second, there is this whole thing about food journaling that, like, if you write down everything that you eat, I tried this once before just to as an experiment. And I did notice that, like, a lot of times when I normally would just grab something and throw it in my mouth, I just decided not to do it because I didn't feel like writing it down. It's kind of funny how just the tiniest little obstacle can keep you from eating sometimes. So, I mean, it might work. I can't see anybody actually using it, but it might work. So how about C tier? By the way, if anybody actually saw one of these or used one of these back in the 80s, it would not surprise me. Please tell me in the comments. I want to hear about those. Continuing in a similar theme is the mouth condom. Okay, so we have a mask for people who can't stop themselves from eating. This is for those super horny people who can't stop themselves from kissing. So this was filed in 1995 by Dolores Graywood, and it's basically a thin, flexible membrane with a frame. So you can put this over your mouth and then kiss people without actually touching them. So I guess you just walk around with this thing, and when you want to give somebody a kiss, you just put it up in front of your lips and cheeks and chin so you can go in and kiss them without getting their nasty cooties on you. So why is this needed? Well, according to Wood, it's for parents who are afraid their children will catch HIV or AIDS at school in the playground. So, dumb people. So it's got this little divot at the top for your nose, which also just happens to make it look like a heart. Because kissing. She also points out another use case in the filing, that it could possibly be used by a politician who kisses babies. That would go over well. No bad optics there. I mean, I could see this at Spencer Gifts as a gag gift or something like that, but it's pretty stupid. D tier. Next one up is cat on a string. Don't worry, it's not a real cat. So this invention is basically a scarecrow. It's meant to scare birds away. I guess the thinking being that cats catch birds, birds are afraid of cats, so this is meant to trick birds with a fake cat. But to make the cat move around in a realistic fashion, they suspend it from a string and tie it to a little wind gauge so the wind can blow the cat around. So it's not just a cat, it's a flying cat. That'll do the job. Actually, crows are supposed to be super smart, aren't they? So I mean, the fact that this cat is flying around might be a giveaway to them. Just saying. I don't know, scarecrows already exist, so I'll just give this a D tier. Next up is the ball boat. This one kind of baffles me, honestly. Okay, so it's an idea for a boat that is basically like two prop planes stuck on the side of a giant ball, and the ball spins to move them both forward in the water. And apparently there's room inside the ball for cargo down here at the bottom. Maybe that helps to kind of keep it, stable or whatever, but it seems like it'd be difficult to get stuff in and out of there if it's a giant ball. Like, I don't get it. And wouldn't you need to make sure that the fuselages on both sides of the ball are the exact same weight so it doesn't tip one way or another? It just seems like there's a lot of weird balance stuff you'd have to figure out. So it's like a plane, but it's slower than a plane. It's like a boat, but it's less stable than a boat. Why though? Like, I feel like this does everything worse than everything else. I don't get it. F tier. I'd put it in G tier if there was a G tier. Next up is the dog watch. Not a watch dog, a dog watch. Because in no way would a dog immediately tear this off of its arm and rip it apart in 5 minutes. It's a cute picture though. So on one hand, this is a fun little gag gift, a watch that you could put on your dog that has no idea how to read it, but it's also kind of sad. So the actual name of this patent is Clock for Keeping Time at a Rate Other Than Human Time, and that's the actual gag here. The patent is for a clock that can be programmed to keep time as an animal experiences it. So like they say, every year is 7 years for a dog, which is not a linear correlation, but that's for another time. But this clock would basically just take the normal time and then divide by 7 so that it is time as your dog experiences it. And I guess the clever thing here is that you can program it to work with any animal, and they list the average ages of animals in their patent from goldfish to elephants. So, if you have a pet elephant, you can give it a watch. But the real point of this invention, as it says in the application, is to give pet owners perspective on the true value of the time they spend with their pets. Which is something I try not to think about. So the idea of just watching my beloved pet's life ticking away faster than my own is not something I really want to think about. I did not expect this to make me cry. C tier for making me cry. So that's the second crazy patents tier list. Disagree with any of these? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and some of you requested a full tier list of all the patents from the first and second videos. That would look like this. And again, if you haven't seen the first video, I'll put the link down in the description, or I'll put it up there somewhere. But it's worth watching if for only the spinning bed that flings babies out of pregnant women. Yeah, somebody invented a baby trebuchet. You know what would be a good invention, though? If somebody invented a meal service that just sends fresh, ready-to-eat meals directly to your door. You know, meals crafted by professional chefs working alongside dietitians to make sure the food's delicious and healthy and fast. That's a great idea. I should totally do this. Hang on, let me look this up. Wait, this already exists and it's called Factor? Damn it! Guess I'll just order from them then. Factor makes incredibly delicious meals that you can eat in 2 minutes or less, and you know it's good because they're owned by HelloFresh. So it's kind of like HelloFresh to go. So it's perfect for a quick lunch break. In fact, there are grain bowls and salad bowls that you don't even have to heat up, just open them up and eat them. And they've got options to fit whatever kick you're on, keto to calorie smart, vegan and veggie, even protein plus. You can choose from over 34 chef-prepared meals that do not skip on the flavor. I'm talking premium ingredients like broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. Plus they've got plenty of add-ons, more than 45 actually, including breakfast items like apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, and potato bacon and egg breakfast skillets. I already ate, I'm getting hungry just talking about it. And I know there's a lot of concern about sustainability with meal delivery services. I'm with you on that. That's why I was really happy to hear that they do offset 100% of their delivery emissions. That's really cool. I'm honestly a big fan of Factor. I like that they make it really easy to eat healthy and you don't feel like you're sacrificing anything. Like I've always turned up my nose at things like cauliflower grits or when they, mash it up like instead of mashed potatoes. But the ones in Factor, they're actually really good. I never would have thought I'd like that. But that's what I mean, you're actually eating healthy, it's just 500 calories a meal and it tastes great, you're not hungry an hour later, and you feel better, you look better. I'm probably overselling this. But if you want to try it, and I do highly recommend you try it, just go to factor75.com, use the code JoeScott50, you'll get 50% off your first box. 50%? That's like almost half. So yeah, go check it out, it does support the channel, and it's good eating. Links down below. Bon appetit. So thanks a lot for watching. If this is your first time here, this is the link to the first Crazy Patents video. It's definitely worth watching. It kind of goes along with this one. Or you could go check out any of the videos that might be recommended over here by the algorithm that got my little face on them. Give them a click if you like it. I do invite you to subscribe. I'll come back with videos every Monday. All right, but that's it for now. Hope you guys are having a great summer. Do go out there, have an eye-opening rest of the week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next Monday. Love you guys. Take care.